In this video, I will explain how to determine the cash conversion cycle. So what is a cash conversion cycle? A cash conversion cycle, or the CCC, is actually refers to the length of time which is measured in number of days that it takes for a company to convert resources input into cash flows. For example, a typical retailer buys inventory on credit from its vendors, and when the inventory is purchased, a payable is established, but cash isn't actually paid on time. So the payable is paid within 30 days, and the inventory is marketed to the customers and eventually sold to a customer on account. The customer then pays for the inventory within 30 days of purchasing it. So the cash cycle measures the amount of days between paying the vendor for the inventory and when the retailer actually receives the cash from the customer. So now the formula for the cash conversion cycle, the formula is ICP plus RCP minus PDP. So what is ICP? ICP is the inventory conversion period. And what is inventory conversion period? It is the average length of time required to convert materials into finished goods and then to sell them. So this is the formula to determine the inventory conversion period. That is inventory divided by sales over 360. So the ICP is measured in number of days. All of these are measured in number of days. Okay, the second formula, you can use either one. The second formula is inventory divided by COGS over 360. So you can use basically the sales or the COGS, cost of goods sold, to determine the ICP. Okay, and next is the RCP. RCP is the receivables collection period. Receivable collection period is the average length of time required to convert the firm's receivables into cash. So the formula for RCP is receivables, or sometimes the average receivables, divided by the credit sales over 360. And the third one is PDP, that is a payables deferral period. The PDP is the average length of time between the purchase of materials and labor and the payment of cash for them. So the formula is the payables, or average payables, over COGS divided by 360. Okay, and then another formula for this receivable is 360 over receivable turnover ratio. If you look at the CCC, the formula for CCC is equal to ICP plus RCP minus PDP. The ICP and the RCP are items under the current assets, whereby the PDP, that is the payables, is under the current liability. So the formula to determine the cash conversion cycle of a company is ICP plus RCP, that both items are current asset, and then minus the PDP, which is the current liability. All right, how to reduce the cash conversion cycle? Because for a company to be efficient, they need to reduce the cash conversion cycle. The sooner they get the cash money, the more efficient the company is. Okay, how to reduce? Number one, increase inventory turnover, but without causing any stock outs that result in lost sales. Okay, increase the inventory turnover means the turnover is higher in the number of times a company replenish its inventory is more frequent. And then the step number 2 is by improving the debt collection procedures without pressuring the customer, and that is able to collect cash outstanding faster. Okay, they need to improve the debt collection policy, maybe shorten the credit period so that the company are able to collect the cash outstanding sooner. And uh, the step number 3, settle accounts payable slowly without damaging the firm's credit rating. Means for the company's creditors, um, try to pay the accounts nearing the end of the credit period. Okay, and the last is reduce processing and clearing time when collecting from customers and to increase them when paying suppliers. Okay, reduce the processing means when you receive the payment from the customer, you process it as soon as possible. For example, go to the bank in the check, all right, open the mailbox more frequently. Okay, so that is how to reduce the cash conversion cycle. Okay, this is the exercise. So the example of the CCC. Okay, C Industries has annual sales of 10 million. The cost of goods sold is 70% of sales. The average inventory is 1.25 million. Average receivables is 1.11 million and the average payable is 0.5 million. Compute the cash conversion cycle for C Industries. Okay, the formula, as I said just now, is ICP plus RCP minus PDP. So the ICP is the average inventory, 1.25 million, divided by COGS. COGS is 70% of sales. So the sale is 10 million, meaning the COGS is 70% of 10 million, which is 7 million, divided by 360. So the ICP is 64 days. And then the RCP is 1.11 million divided by the sales over the 360. So in this example, it didn't state the credit sales. So if the credit sales is not given, then you just take the sales. The assumption is all sales are made on credit. So the formula, go back to the formula. The receivables is average receivables is 1.11 million divided by the sales of 10 million and then over the 360 assumption the number of days in a year. So the RCP is 40 days. And then the PDP, the average payable is 0.5 million over the COGS, that is 70% of the sales of 10 million, and then divided by 360. So the PDP is basically 26 days. So the answer for this is 78 days. Okay, example 2. Sharikat Sentosa collects its account receivables in 50 days after credit sales are made and pays its account payable in 28 days after credit purchases are placed. The firm's cost of goods sold averaged 200,000 and its closing inventory amounts to 30,000. So what is the CCC? All right, the CCC, the inventory is 30,000 divided by the COGS of 200,000 over 360. So the ICP is 54 days. And then given in the questions, the account receivable is 50 days. So you just plus 50. And then minus the 28, it also given in the questions. The accounts payable obligation is 28 days after the credit purchase are placed. So minus 28. So 54 plus 50, the RCP minus the 28 PDP. So the CCC is 76 days. Okay, questions number 2. If the firm is able to extend its payment period to 35 days by using a new supplier, but as a result, lengthen its inventory conversion period by 4 days, should the firm switch to the new supplier? All right, the new CCC, okay, in this questions number 2, it's given that the inventory conversions, okay, lengthen its ICP by 4 days. So you plus the 4 days from the previous ICP. So 54 plus 4. And then plus 50 because there is no change in receivables collection period. And then what about the PDP? Okay, able to extend its payment period to 35 days, meaning the new PDP is 35 days. So minus 35 days. So the new CCC is 58 plus 50 minus 35 is equal to 73 days. So the question here is, should the company switch to the new supplier? Yes, the firm should switch to the new supplier because the CCC is less by 3 days. Okay, remember the lesser the number of days of the CCC, the more efficient or effective the company is. So we will choose whichever is lower. Okay, let's see one of the questions in the previous exam. Tara Berhad has 3 plans in improving its cash flows. Below are some informations collected for each plan to improve Tara Berhad cash flow. If you look at this table, there are 3 plans, that is J, K, and L. With the PDP, the receivables, and the inventory turnover ratio. You look at this table, the inventory turnover ratio is given, not the inventory conversion period. So you will have to do calculations for the inventory collection period, the ICP, based on this informations given, that is the inventory turnover ratio. Okay, now we calculate the CCC for plan J. As usual, the ICP plus RCP minus PDP. Okay, now the ICP, the inventory conversion period, you are given the ratio of 8 times in the year. So how to calculate the ICP is, you take the number of days in the year, the 360, divided by the inventory turnover ratio of 8 times. So you will get 360 divided by 8, you have 45 days. The ICP is 45 days. Plus the RCP, 31 days. It's given in the table, 31 days. And then the PDP minus PDP, that is 35 days. So the plan J CCC is 41 days. And you can do the same calculations for the other 2 plans. Okay, just do some just do similar workings for the ICP. That is the number of days in the year, 360, divided by the inventory turnover ratio for the respective plans. And then, okay, after you finish calculating the whole 3 plans, the plan J, you have 41 days, plan K, you have 36 days, and plan L, you have 31 days. So if you are given the options, which one, because for questions number 2, advise with reason the most appropriate plan that Tara Berhad should adopt in order to improve its cash flow. So you compare the answer, meaning the lowest CCC should be the best decisions to take. So this Tara Berhad should adopt plan L because that is the lowest CCC. Okay, let's do one more example. The Bread Berhad produced high-quality toasters at a cost of 60 ringgit per unit for materials and labor. These toasters are sold to local distributors at 200 per unit. The current production facilities enable the firm to produce and sell up to 250 toasters per day. The average time taken to process raw materials into a finished product is 21 days. The customers are given 30 days to pay for the purchases, and Bread Berhad usually takes 25 days to pay to its suppliers. Bread Berhad pays 8% per annum for its negotiated financing, not use 360 days per year. The question number 1, calculate the operating cycle and the CCC of the company. Okay, first, the operating cycle. The operating cycle meaning the consists of the ICP and the RCP, the both items of the under the current assets. So the ICP is given in the questions. The average time to process raw material into finished product is 21 days. So that is the ICP. And then the RCP, the customers are given 30 days to pay for the purchases. So that is the RCP. So the 21 ICP plus the 30 of RCP. So the operating cycle is 51 days. So what is the CCC? Okay, the CCC is the operating cycle minus the PDP. So the operating cycle is 51 days. The answer in questions 1 just now. Minus the PDP. PDP is also given in the questions. It says there, Bread Berhad usually takes 25 days to pay to its suppliers. So that is the payables deferral period of 25 days. So the CCC is 51 days minus 25 days. So the answer is 26 days. All right, for questions number 2, determine the working capital financing requirement of the company. So the working capital requirement is basically the uh, the PDP because this is the creditor. Okay. Um, so okay, you look at this. Um, how much the company require for working capital? Of course, the cost per unit. Okay, the total cost per unit that is 60 ringgit times um, the productions unit that is 250 toasters per day. Okay, so 250 toasters times the 60 ringgit, so times the PDVP of 26 days. So that is the working capital financing required for the company. So the total is 390,000. And the questions number 3, if the company is able to reduce its receivables collection period by 3 days, how much working capital financing requirement that can be saved? Then you just calculate the 3 days working capital financing. So 250 productions unit per day times the 60 ringgit cost per day times 3 days. So the saving is 45,000 ringgit. So therefore, uh, if we are able to shorten the CCC, we are actually save costs Okay, save cost in the company's cost.